Hello, everyone. Welcome back to another amazing episode of 52 Authors, 52 Weeks. I'm your host, Dr. Lisa L. Campbell, the Growth Motivator. And today I am joined by Andrea Wehlann, author of. Now, guys, you have to really lean into this title Deeper, Deeper Days. Yoga spirations, like inspirations, but yoga spirations for inner calm amidst the chaos. And when I saw this title, I said, did you like predict that there was going to be lots of chaos in our lives? Or how did this title come about?
Aw.
Welcome to the show, Andrea. Can you tell our listening, viewing audience about you, your background? I know you have a degree in psychology, but tell our listening, viewing audience a little bit about you.
Okay, hi. I'm just taking in a moment because you're actually holding my book. So I'm like, I need a photo of that. What a dream come true. I am just a little girl from a small town, a really tiny small town, and my dreams were so much bigger than myself. And every moment, every breath I've ever taken, every action has led me here. And this is really a dream come true for me. I started writing at age 7, just on the just with a journal and a piece of paper, watching the boats go by in my small town on Lake Erie, and dreamed of love and a more loving world. And how can I be a part of that? And how can I contribute to that? And through a lot of darkness, I kept pushing through, and I have found some light that I love to share with people through my books. I'm a yoga instructor. I own a yoga studio, Ganga Moon Yoga, in Beamsville. I teach Reiki. I'm a Reiki master. I have a degree in psych from Brock University and a social services worker diploma from Niagara College. I've published 3 books in 3 years. I've won a few book awards and 2 number one bestsellers on Amazon in the category of yoga.
Wow. I love it. I
Yeah.
like that you said a little girl with dreams bigger than yourself.
Mhm.
I think oftentimes as women, we feel like we're not enough. And we're constantly fighting. I call it that I'm not enough demon
Mhm.
because we are constantly questioning, should we be in the room? Should we have this opportunity? And I wake up every day to a notification on my phone, so on my calendar, that reminds me that I am enough.
Hmm. Yeah. I think that we live in a super fast paced culture now, probably the fastest it's ever been. And it's really, really hard with a fast culture, instant gratification on the phones, to find or to have moments where we really feel that we are more than our thoughts. But we can do that. Just as you bring a puppy home, you don't just let it run around the house. There's a training that can happen, a mental training. And this is what the word yoga means. To yoke is to unite. And what this book, Deeper Days, does is give you a little piece of self inquiry each morning when you make your coffee or tea. This isn't a back-to-back book. This is 365 yoga spirations. So if you can read one paragraph while you're having your coffee, you're actually changing the patterns of your thinking, going within yourself for the answer. And the bottom line on each page, like this one says, kind, slow, and steady triumphs over any other pace. If you can bring your attention back to what's on the very bottom during the day, what's happening is you're watering the seeds inside you of focus, awareness, and concentration. And so, what I'm here to say to people is that all you need is inside you. And let me show you how. Because I know what it's like to be a woman and to feel like you're not enough. And we're also in a culture that doesn't honor and promote, like, hey, you're a woman, you're the best thing ever. Like, that's not happening. But what we can do is have a practice and learn and train to do it ourselves, to give ourselves what we need, because it is inside of us.
Wow. And, one of the things that I love about those of you who teach yoga and Reiki therapy is
Mhm.
that I feel like you're really teaching us to slow down, to become more in tune to ourselves, because you're right. We live in this microwave generation. And I am in the process of preparing for a presentation, and I like to do a little research. And in the very beginning of my presentation, I have this picture of a 1960s TV show called The Jetsons. Do you remember that TV show?
Wow, I totally remember the Jetsons. Yep,
Now, I was born early 70s, right? So
me
it
too.
came out in the 60s, but then it replayed, right,
Mm.
in the 70s and 80s. And how I'm setting the stage for my presentation is that that picture represents the future that we could not have imagined. And we're literally living that future right now. And so I think a lot of us are afraid of that future, which is happening
Mhm.
right now, the artificial intelligence,
Mhm.
the machine learning. But no matter what decade we're living in, I believe there's value in having the ability to slow down, to become more self aware, because that's when you can feel that there are things going on with your body when you just take the time. And I'm not a yoga teacher, let me just be
Mhm.
clear,
Mhm.
but I've learned so much about it that I realize if I just, close my eyes, put my hand on my chest, and just take a moment of pause, I can slow life down.
Mhm.
And it makes me feel so much better. And I don't know if this is something that they do when people have anxiety. It's just
Mhm.
something that I've learned is so beneficial to help me when I'm starting to feel
Mhm.
overwhelmed. And as the young folks
Beautiful.
say, life is lifing. And so you have to have the tools to be able to
Yeah.
deal with life.
Yeah. Yeah, that's the thing about the mind. It can go in so many directions, and the nature of the mind is to wander off. So usually it's in thoughts, images, ideas, perceptions, these great things we can do. But at the same time, that's its nature, but there's also ways that inside of us, beyond the nature of the mind, is a kingdom of peace, compassion, health, wellness. And but there's the mind is tricky. And my favorite t-shirt I made at my yoga studio says my mind is a liar, because it really is a pivotal point when you can realize that your mind is lying to you, or that it's a liar, because it's always looking for the quick fast escape, the I centered, the ego centered. When you the beauty of yoga is a mind with no disturbances. So when we sit still, or when you find your breath just for that moment, there's something magical happens, because you can see that you are not your thoughts, that you are so much more than what you can ever think. Inside there's a deep stillness, and that's our nature. So when you come to yoga, or when you have a practice, or even just reading from Deeper Days, that little piece each day, it's a reminder of that river of stillness that flows within us all, that flows within you. So when you wake up in the morning, if you check your email, it might be like, oh, this jerk, or like, oh my God, my boss needs 12 things, and you're off for the day on reactivity, right? If you can wake up in the morning and have make your favorite breakfast. I have a book stand, and then read one of the paragraphs and have this little practice for the day. You're adding the meaning to your life now. Now it's not the email, it's not the coworkers, it's not the kids. You're adding some meaning. You've got something. You've got a friend in you. Your breath is always there, right? So it's like And once you do it a couple times, the whole year is really hard to do. I don't know. The first year it came out was 2022. I know one lady, I believe, did the whole year. It's not easy, but you train it. But the beauty is that it's you, only better, less reactive, more creative. And that is so amazing.
Oh my gosh, I could listen to you all day. Do you do guided meditations?
Yes, yes, I have some on YouTube. Yeah, it's free. Just Andrea L. Wehlann on YouTube or Ganga Moon Yoga. It's like both is all online, and there's some free videos, some meditation videos, a couple short yoga things. But what I like to do is make it for every body, right? A lot of people think yoga is the poses. But when they shut my yoga studio down, it's like it's so not anymore. Our consciousness has so expanded. We're so beyond thinking that to be in a pretzel is yoga. Because you can be bendy and be thinking, what the hell's for dinner? And what? I have to cook it. I have to go get. That's not yoga, right? Yoga is here. Can you keep connection from your head to your heart, and how often? Because if you can for one moment, you know how you took your breath just for that moment? When you can do that, then you have something. Then you can put another moment on. In Zen, it's called the 3 moments, and it's in Deeper Days. Then you can put another moment there and take 2 breaths, and then 3. Then you have a space, and you can do whatever you imagine to do from that space. Anything you can
Wow.
imagine.
Anything you can imagine.
There is greatness within you, and we all have it. There is greatness within you. Mhm.
Wow. So let me tell you one of the things that so obviously I have not read all 365 days, but what I did do because it caught my eye
Oh,
was the sentences at the bottom of each day.
yes.
And honestly, I could just go and read all of the little statements because they're so powerful. Like day 129, you say, be compassionate with number one, yourself. And you talked about waking up in the morning. Some of us like to immediately check our emails, check our text message, check the social media feed. I believe that these devices hold us hostage. And we have to take our life back because in the midst of chaos, that device is not going to save you. To me, it's going to do more harm because when you go on social media, what are you seeing? All the things that are happening, good, bad, ugly, indifferent. And I think just having those moments for you is something that, I desire for everyone to have because I think that when you get in a situation like at work and it's turmoil, if
Mhm.
you can take a moment for you, you can calm yourself down and not
Mhm.
react and say something or do something that you can't take back.
There is a creative space inside of you. There is an inner wisdom, an inner song, an inner intelligence flowing through all of us right now. An acorn seed cannot become a lemon tree. It cannot. And there's seeds inside of us of beauty, of destiny, of compassion. How could it not be so? How could creation create something less? It can't not be so. And so there's yeah, so every time at the bottom of the page, it's a mantra. Mantra is, they used to move societies by saying mantras. We're just not aware of this because Facebook's not showing that part of things. We're not hearing the mythological stories. We're not hearing that kings used to consult the poets to move society. But I'm here to tell you, if you can come back to that mantra at the bottom of that page every single day, there's something, you will come from your most creative self. Your highest potential awaits you, and it's not a learning, it's an unlearning. It's a doing this instead of that. But we are creatures of habit, and so when you go to do the 365, there will be resistance. And a lot of people get lost in the resistance. And I like to see it like a boat in the water. If you're going through the rapids, you see those little boats and people are rowing. Yeah. So you're going to say, every day I'm going to make my days deeper with deeper days. And your resistance is going to be like, I'm paddling the opposite way. So if you can be aware of that and do your practice with the resistance, you'll have a lot more success. And also at the same time each day, if you wake up, I do it with my coffee because I'm making it every day. So I have it right there and I just turn the page and read it. And then I have a practice for the day, right? If you can keep it in line with what you're already doing, you'll have a lot more success too. But the practice itself is just uncovering the beautiful layers of who you are, just like a lotus flower. The jewel of you doing it each day is you.
Wow. Oh my gosh.
Mm.
I hope our listening viewing audience is really tapping into these little statements that you're making. Earlier, you talked about a kingdom, right? So many things that should really cause us to pause and just really continue to believe we are worthy. Day
Mm.
339, you are worthy of growth. I could literally read each of the mantras and just go to a very emotional place of
Mhm.
release, and
Mhm.
relaxation, and I think that's because I've been on a journey to inspire others, but
Mhm.
before I inspire them, I have to tap
Mhm.
into me,
Yeah,
and I know for me, one of the things that I think really helped me get to this place was fracturing my ankle and being in a forced state of stillness.
that'll do it.
Oh, that
That'll do it. Yep, yep. Any fracture, any break. So but we have a Zen saying, say it. It says, start where you are. And people are like, what does that mean? If your ankle is broken, you start there. If you're feeling pain in your body, that's your start. If something happened to you, if you were assaulted, somebody stole something, betrayal, you start there. That's the start. You start where you are. Yeah, what beautiful, beautiful story. I hung these mantras around my whole house because I really believed I was raised, like not raised, but I felt for a lot of years that I was bad and not worthy, and it didn't matter what I would do. I was just a waste of space. And I when I started to learn, um, to transform my thoughts of fear into thoughts of love, and now I've created a life of that vibration, I had to hang these things up. So when I would brush my teeth, I had one of these mantras hanging on the mirror so I could train my mind to remember. Your mind, the way it's set up, a lot of people think, well, I'm always focused on the negative. I don't know why I can't think positive. It's how your mind works. Your mind does not repeat the good things. If you do a painting or write a poem or sing a song, it's done. It doesn't come back and go, oh, that was a great song. No. If you read your email and it's crappy, you're like, why are they sending me crappy? What? Well, I was crappy in grade 4. And you can be crappy all day long. It's just how your mind works. And so the importance of books like this is that it's a tool of consciousness. It's something where you're putting in the good stuff just because not just because your mind isn't set up to do that. It's like using your cell phone. If you read the instruction booklet, you could do so much more with your phone, but none of us do. And if we can learn how the mind works, we can work it. So it's
mm,
not against us in that boat, it's with us in that boat. And that's the world I want to see moving forward. Enough with not being on our own side,
I
right?
love it.
Let's read the books of people who are on their own side.
Yes. So let's shift gears a little bit and talk about overcoming trauma and abuse.
Mm, okay. You
Right? This is
first.
we,
No,
we,
just
we were
kidding.
high. Now we're going to go a little lower, but then we're going to end by coming back up.
Okay, sweet. Yeah. You first. No, just kidding.
Well, you know what?
Just kidding. I just
Falling, falling was very traumatic for me
no.
because it happened suddenly. My life changed suddenly. And when the doctor told me that I had to be off it, and I'm like hopping to the bathroom, I had to keep telling myself, you're not going to fall. You're not going to fall. I had to train my mind
Yeah.
that I was not going to fall and re injure myself during that post operative journey. And that just speaks volumes to how
Mhm.
powerful the mind is, because at first I was sitting there just fearful about falling. And then I was like, oh no, you are
Mhm.
not going to control me. I am not going to fall.
Beautiful. Beautiful. Yeah. And I think for me too, I mean, at one point of many, I was like gang raped with Rohypnol at a soccer frat house, and they had dumped me on the curb on the busy street. And so I was half on the curb and half not, but couldn't move. The drug was so powerful. I was just like a like dead weight. And my bra was in my pocket, my underwear inside out, and it was cold. It was the start of school, so it was fall. And I don't know how I made it up. Like that apartment, like first the lawn was so long from the main street, and then the staircase must have been about 16, 17 stairs to go up to the apartment. I don't know how I got there. But by the grace of God or nature or self-talk, I did. It was like just follow the light, just follow the light. It didn't take away the stories I started writing at 7. It didn't take away my dreams that I still believe in a world of love. I feel something. I'm still writing. Okay, let me write about this. Let me write through this. Not until domestic violence went up during COVID 60% did I put out my first book, no matter how dark the stain. And but Deeper Days is so important because we need to know that we're not what happened to us, and that we can actually create that person. I think there's a person inside all of us that's dying to come out. But we need some little tools to break through the mind. We need some little technique. We need technique. And that's what Deeper Days offers people, is that little technique to get in where the light is. And then you poke it through and burst open all those dark things.
TNT, tools and techniques. I think
Oh,
everyone needs TNT.
I'm writing that down later.
You know what? Because
Yes.
this is what I've realized. When you're in the midst of those dark days, it's the tools and techniques that save
Mm,
you. If you have not
yeah.
um, gathered those tools and put them on your tool belt
Mm.
and be able to implement the techniques, the situation will take over you instead of you taking control over the situation.
Mm. And maybe just as we're having the conversation, I have this insight like we have all we need within, because it's not like you were like, hey, if I fall down, I'm gonna say this to myself. And it's not like I was on that curb going, oh, I've been here before. This is what I do to get out of it. I think that this is the kingdom. I think there's so much inside of us that we really have no idea. And but looking back, we can see what our tools were. And but this is the point of sharing stories like this, because new stories, I believe, create a new world, new healing techniques, and people that have risen into their true selves. I think it's so important. So I really love what you're doing.
Wow. So I have another question for you. Talk to us a little bit about self care and self
Mm.
love. And I
Mm.
personally feel like everyone doesn't understand the full gamut of
Mhm.
self love and self care. They think self love, self care is about, nail appointments or hair
Mhm.
appointments. And I think that's part of it. But
Mhm.
I believe, and I want to see what you think, there's more to it than just that.
Yeah, I'm with you. Yeah, I agree. I think the nails and things like that, um, yeah, can create that instant happiness kind of feeling. But one important lesson that I learned is that happiness isn't a place, it's a moment in time, right? It comes and it goes. Everything comes and goes. Your breath doesn't come in and go, or you'd be dead. Everything comes and goes. So if you can see happy, you can know that hurt is coming. And this is yoga. So you just keep moving between the two and not get stuck in your life. Self care for me, oh gosh. I probably still do work on self care to not have the old thoughts come up and to keep going so that I can help more people in my life. I think things happen to me so I can help other people. But I write things down. If I say I'm fat and ugly, I'm putting that on paper. And right beside it, I'm going to write, I'm skinny. Yeah, like those times 5,000. Yeah.
5,000 is right. I have so many. Oh my God, I'm embarrassed to say how many I have.
Okay, we're probably, yeah, we're probably journal friends because I can look over here and there's like 99. But that's my thing, right? So I wrote out the negative things, and right beside it in the column I wrote out what God would say or what universe would say, right? As I am a child of a loving father, I am love, I am peace. Because yeah, again, how could I be anything less? There's no fractured off pieces of trees, it's just nature. So how could we be anything less? We need to challenge our thoughts. To do that, we need to see them. They need to be on a piece of paper in front. You have to get it out, then it comes out, and then you can counter it, and then you repeat that part. That's taking care of yourself. What are you saying to yourself?
Listen,
Right.
I have something. I'm not going to show it because, but it's really. I am worth my rate of XYZ per hour, and
Wow.
I keep it on my
I'm
desk
feeling it.
because oftentimes people will try to lowball you.
Yeah.
And what I've learned is they can never pay me my worth, but they will pay me my rate.
Wow.
Constant reminder,
I
constant
wrote that
reminder.
down. Thank you for that. They will never pay me my worth, but they will pay my rate. Wow. Loves it.
So important, right? And to
Thank
me,
you.
that's a form of self love. I love myself
Mhm.
enough
Mhm.
to require that I'm paid my rate.
Mhm. And really, here's something that I found one of the greatest tragedies, like of all time, is that I can learn and know something, and I know how to crawl out of a dark space and where the light is, but I can't pick anybody else up out of their darkness and put them over here in the light. And that's a tragedy because the only way that we light each other is by being our best selves. Like you saying that and what it took you to get to having that written there just lit me up. And I'm hoping from our conversation that we light some other people's hearts up.
Oh my gosh, so,
Mm,
so powerful. First of all, I'm so glad that we were able to finally record your
yeah,
episode because we were
me too.
supposed to meet a couple of weeks ago. And I
Yeah.
was telling my assistant, Sophia, I'm like, we have
Oh,
to get the appointment rescheduled because number
oh.
one, your book is different than the other books in
Mhm,
our series. I noticed that there's this theme about self help, but this book is a daily
mhm,
journey that we should be on. It's not a destination, it is a
mhm,
journey. It is a
mhm,
habit that we need to create. Just
mhm.
like me, I drink my hot tea every single day
Yeah.
for several hours during the morning.
Mhm,
It's like my happy place, but
mhm,
we all need this daily
mhm,
practice so that we can work towards
mhm,
a better self, a happier
mhm,
self, a healthier self,
mhm.
retrain our mind.
Yes. Yes, it's all about the mind. Because if you're not doing deeper days and you're not having, like, the first paragraph is self inquiry, like something different to think about that you haven't thought before. But I have, and I've done it. And you can see where I'm at from where I was briefly from the conversation. But if you're not doing it, then you're processing. Your mind is a supercomputer. Then you're processing your social media, you're processing your emails, you're processing anyway, and you're paying a price no matter what. So the question here is, are you going to put some peace in and change things for yourself to be the best, or keep going the way you're going? Right? Like we
Yes.
have a choice. But yeah, but like, choose you. Yeah, like you said, that first quote, the compassion, like taking care of number one, took me a really long time to realize that, probably 8, 10 years, and it's here. But you are number one, and there's only one begotten son, and we're all lit. So if you're your
Wow.
best self, then I can be my best self. But I'm not going to sleep until every woman knows this, because that's why I'm here.
Oh my gosh. Well, listen, we have run out of time. I know we could chat for hours because I can tell that we both have been on this
Yeah.
journey in our respective lanes. And I'm so excited about your journey of getting us all to lean into deeper days because I think that that's what we need for sustainability for life. And many of us, we struggle with that, but we just got to take it one day at a time, which is why Deeper Days gives us 365
Yeah.
days.
Yeah.
So before we go, do you have any final thoughts for our listening, viewing audience? But then also, please tell everyone where they can find you because they probably want to explore more with you regarding Deeper Days and the other services that you offer.
Amazing. So, two final thoughts. One is the outside has always been chaos. It always will be chaos. Your grandmothers in the Great Depression, the wars that we have fought through, the outside is always going to be crazy. But inside you is a kingdom of love, kindness, and compassion. And it's your nature. So I hope you all experience it. It's only for a moment. The other message that I have to tell you is that the dark parts of your life and all of the light ones are both love. They're both love. So keep going and never give up. Find me anywhere by my last name, but it's so hard to spell it. It's Wehlann, Andrea L. Wehlann. So Instagram, Facebook. Um, I don't know how to work TikTok yet, but I'll get there. Gangamoon Yoga is my yoga studio, and there's pages on LinkedIn, X, Facebook, Instagram. I'm kind of everywhere. If you look it up, YouTube has free videos for you. I talk about my books there. There's some videos. Feel free to find some calm with me, or even just send an email, gangamoonyoga@gmail.com.
I love it. Well, listen, I want to thank you so much for being here today. I want to thank everyone for listening to another amazing episode of 52 Authors, 52 Weeks. I'll see you next week.
Thank you.